Hi, and welcome to another episode of Wine and Wisdom. I'm Thomas Le Hoang, and you're listening to the TL podcast, where knowledge is shared and no one takes themselves too seriously. All right, boys.
Welcome back.
Welcome. Here's my Henschke Abbotts Prayer. So I was the one in charge today
Translated, that was
of
Abbotts
getting
Prayer.
of getting the bottle. All right, so Abbotts Prayer. Abbotts Prayer. I said Abbotts Prayer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Ravan.
2016.
Am I getting closer?
You know,
He's going to throw that at you.
when you can speak
Four
French,
languages.
Oui. Ici.
English, and the same amount of Vietnamese I do speak, and we can compare ourselves. So, Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot, I think it's 24% Merlot. So the rest
gonna be
Cab Sav.
Thought he was going to say
But you know what
24%
I
alcohol.
really liked? It was the first time I've read about this, is that they mature this 20% of the wine into brand new oak barrel, and 80% of their wine, they matured it into used barrels, French oak barrels, right? So I don't understand why, but it was very interesting, you know? So let's try this, and then we'll see what we think. All right, cheers, boys. Come on.
Cheers. Look
Cheers,
at
cheers.
the colour of it.
Okay, all right. That's it. I've done my job.
We're going to win a chicken dinner.
I've done my
they're
job,
all,
right?
They're all pretty good today, but that's
I've done my job.
time.
That's a nice bottle of wine.
Next bottle is going to be hard for you to beat, man. If you only come in with bottles that you've won.
And you're on next, man. You're
Listen,
on
mate,
next.
I was not the first person to bring a bottle that was gifted to me to this podcast.
No,
Thomas Le
it's
Hoang.
a bottle that you've won. I've told you.
Yeah, I won
didn't
it.
say
That's
gifted.
winner's piss, mate. Hey. I thought you might like to try it. It doesn't happen often.
It was a nice drop. It wasn't as good as my Merlot.
How good was Awards Night?
Yeah, that was good. Different, but yeah, very
No, I loved it.
Not even the different. How good was
How
it? Let's-
40 people made more noise than 300. That was amazing.
But just the feeling in the room. Veronique sent out an email the next day and mentioned that, she'd missed getting together with everyone. I think you could tell that everyone had missed getting together with everyone.
Yeah.
It was just obviously very underestimated. You don't realise, you take for granted until it's not there. But even as a network, some of the pats on the back and some of the hugs and some of the just good to get around yous again. And because of that, everyone got buck wild and had a lot of fun.
Lots of pats on the backs and the hugs and
But seriously, I got a bit emotional at one point during the night because I'm just like, how good, like we're back. We've missed that for 12 months or more. Because even though we had leadership recently, we didn't get together like that, And I thought it was bloody brilliant. Obviously, very disappointed that not everyone could be there.
Very disappointed that you didn't get nominated.
No, mate, I just know that I was up for every award except I'm your friend, so people would look down on it. So that's all.
so you had the same train of thought that I had.
Yeah,
man.
that's
So
it. That's the whole reason Chris and I didn't
Yeah,
get mentioned the
that's it.
entire night.
And
That
it
is
had
not
all-
true. Crystal.
I said Chris.
Oh, Chris. Oh, yeah.
Chris. No,
Because
Chris.
your wife got more nominations than you this year.
Yeah.
She
I'm
deserved
happy
it.
for her.
She deserved
I'm
it.
happy for her.
No, actually, you said on the apparently it's to someone that her name was on the list to just make up the numbers or something.
No. I think we're mixing up names there.
Oh, is it? Oh, well,
Yeah, no,
then
hang on.
Steve
Why are you
Thompson
gonna
lied
go
to me.
there?
Then Steve Thompson
I'm
lied to me.
talking about how good the bloody night was, and you've got to drag it down into the gutter. But while it was disappointing that not everyone could be there, you know what? On the flip side, I think there's some part of it was great that it was mostly the leaders and managers, because as the heads of the network as such, we need to connect before we can connect with anybody else. And I thought that it kind of helped. I don't mean that to upset anyone who wasn't there, but I think just having that tight-knit group in the room and reconnecting was a bloody good thing. So well done to everyone involved.
Yeah, I love the party, the after party, when you rip your shirt.
Yeah.
I thought that was good too.
Hey, getting a noise complaint. What do they think we were there for?
What do you mean the noise complaint?
Hey?
And then what did you do afterwards? You just helped. You threw someone in the
I'm
swimming
here
pool
to
at
help.
midnight.
I'm here to help. No, someone wanted to go for a swim. There was
Yeah.
a barrier in our way. Obstacle is the way.
Poor Kim. What did you think of the joke I
I
pulled on the
thought
next day?
that was gold. Oh, it was gold.
There was one. Listen, I'll teach you. You did okay, but next time you say we broke something, 100% would have believed you. The $9,000 fine sort of cast enough
Yeah,
doubt.
well, listen,
if
mate.
you had have said we broke the fence, could not have argued with you one bit because I got stuck.
Cam, I'll tell you, as soon as Thomas started saying it, I'm going, Cam's involved in this for sure.
Mate,
Seriously.
the shocking thing was the most shocking thing about the whole thing was it wasn't me. Like I was involved, but I wasn't the main because every time that's been 38 years of every time a conversation started out that way, Cameron Wilson was the next name read out. So I was like, he's
Listen,
talking, and I'm like, holy shit, it wasn't me. Yes, who helped you get in? Me. Fuck. No, but yeah, mate. You're lucky I was there because that girl was going to try and climb sharpened steel fence with no help. And I tried to talk her out of it. And so I'm the one who got the garbage bin and I'm the one who made it a little bit easier. She still woke up bruised.
So we told the stories to our girls, and Zoe came up with a nickname, Midnight Mermaid.
Because that was about the time.
Well, you know, I got Kim going flat out. And then you came up with Kim and tried to change my mind. And I love the character and the principles and the values in Cam. When Cam said,
I wasn't halving the bill, mate.
where does it say? Where does it say they have to pay 7 times that?
Tell me where there's a...
Right?
Oh, you got to put a notice
I
up.
mean, it's not written on the rules. I mean, that is great character and values, right? What about? I'm sorry, I did the wrong thing. Okay. What about? I was accessories to some kind of infraction.
I was there to
No.
help, mate. I'm actually the hero of the story. I'm kind of disappointed because when you said there was security footage, it would be the funniest video. The before, the after. I got lost in the garden during a torrential downpour and woke up this next morning. It was like I jumped in the pool. So I would love to know where I went. But no, I think it was great. I think it was great for the network. I think it was great for all the people involved. There was some new winners, which I thought was bloody brilliant.
What was the new winner?
Some great winners on the night. Sam Newen getting his award, I thought was excellent, considering we know the backstory there and how hard he's had to fight for that one. I thought someone's told me it was the second time Cass has won, but I thought she really deserved it for putting up with Sam, and I thought it was her first one. So
No, she did very well. She did very well. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a few, and Michael Montez getting sales manager.
That was not the first time, right? Michael has won before.
It's the first time I've been
Sales
involved
manager?
in the company that it
Oh,
was.
yeah, first time since
Since
I've
I've been involved.
So it would have been some time ago since he won it.
Yeah.
Since I've been involved in the company, it's only been Kurt or Josh.
Even during the COVID, like listening to him talking about his people and how he could look after them. And even though I know he's not very good with numbers, like trying to spend time with me on numbers and seeing how do we design the best package for them. For me, there was a lot of things about him, you know, and he was really wearing the cap of manager, of leader at the same time, of everything, and of a team player. It's just amazing.
He's one of
what
those
done.
guys, he's very unassuming, except when he's rapping Eminem, he's extremely humble.
Oh, he kills you. He killed you. He killed you,
Flog
mate.
me, destroy me. But he looks more like him. He is Slim Shady. But he's someone that everyone, I believe, should get around a bit more because I've never left a conversation with him feeling dumber. I can't say the same for you two, but
Why did we ask this guy?
I've never left. No, honestly, for not wasting oxygen and putting quality into and having. You don't always agree, you don't always agree, but I've got no doubt because I said to you, obviously he's doing something right because Preston's were nominated for quite a few awards.
Yeah.
So the guy's doing something right, and you can tell in very brief conversation. I might have 2 conversations with him a year, but they're always bloody good ones. So no, good on him. And I didn't win anything. So
And Louise Fleming's done
yeah,
very well with her first award ever.
Port, massive improvement. I said to them, I think Singapore was a turning point for them, wasn't it?
I think Steve's setting a good example with bringing a lot of his team members along to the conferences and then getting them to put a lot more into it after hours and really absorbing a lot more.
Yeah, but Lou, you can't take away from what Lou's done.
No,
herself,
no, not at all. Not at all, absolutely.
Leaps and bounds. So, no, good on her. And her speech right at the end of the night was one to remember. Not the official award speech.
Did you see that speech?
Yeah, I was
Oh, no.
I couldn't stop laughing, but it wasn't hers, it's something else, but it was the most inappropriate laugh at the most inappropriate time. Everyone's going, shut up, and I couldn't get it back, and I'm like, she's going to stab me with something. But, you know, hats off, because I'm looking around the room the next day and there was a few sore heads, mine included, and I'm looking at Lou trying to engage from across the room.
No problem.
I had to grab her at one break. I'm like, you all right? She goes, I wasn't. Oh, no. But, yeah, no. Good job, head office, picking the awards too, because I don't know, is it the first year ever that the broader network hasn't had an input into the nominees? And
yeah, it is the first time ever.
Which, yeah, hence why we didn't get nominated, mate, because the people love us, but clearly not.
That's right.
I told you already in the seminar, I did not want people to feel jealous because you two were so close.
We would have bought our, with, you know, he felt obliged to give us the nomination.
Someone heard, I think it was Charlotte said earlier that they were worried about us winning the trivia because me and Joel were sitting next to each other and there was some sort of, it's not our fault, we're fucking geniuses. Right?
It was the first time for everything, I suppose. Isn't there? So.
Well, how did you go about it, Big Boss Man? How did you find the Kickstart? And I think everyone in the room felt when you brought out the spreadsheet and we spent 2 hours on that, you felt the same thing that everyone else in the room went. It was like a massive fucking light bulb went off, which isn't bad after 12 years of trying to tell you.
You're not wrong, mate. Usually there's a grey. So like the feeling's a little bit grey after that. Afterwards, you know, some people have started understanding, the other ones are, what the fuck was that about?
Yeah.
And it's really a grey, sort of unsure feeling. This year, I think majority of the people were switched on.
They got it straight away.
It was Blue Mountains 2 years ago that you brought out that spreadsheet for the first time, and you saw this time round how little people picked up of it last time. But this time, I don't know how or why or what, but...
Blue Mountains 2 years ago, we didn't sit down, have the spreadsheet open in front of us and go through
Didn't have it on the computer. Yeah, we had it up on the screen. And
we didn't go... And I think hands-on learning... you know, that one-on-one learning, doing it yourself really puts A with B to equal C, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that made a huge difference for a lot of people. People learn differently, right? We all learn different ways and different paces, but I think that turned that switch for a lot of people, which was fantastic.
Question for you, and maybe it's because we've been to more of them, but both with leadership this just gone and Kickstart this gone, haven't left, and I don't know about you, Chriso, but haven't left each day feeling completely mind-fucked. Have you made a conscious effort to make the information less intense, or because I've had conversations with quite a few people who have felt the same way? You know, we used to, it was only Fiji a couple of years ago, I left completely fucking brain scrambled, couldn't talk, didn't know my own name.
No, but I understood too. I mean, there's two ways you can sell good seminars. Like, if you start them up on day one, you can sell them rubbish on day 2 and day 3. There's no problem.
But leadership was the same. I felt there was more clicks in the room, but I also left the days not feeling completely drained, like completely ready.
Maybe I matured. Maybe I just understood the need to just give bigger picture.
So it has been a conscious
too
effort.
much detail.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. Is it just people getting better, or is it you changing?
I mean, you have a look. We did 1 page in 2 hours. I mean, since when have I ever done covered one page in 2 hours?
Yeah. Do you reckon you got more value out of that 2 hours?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, listen, that's when I went, bing, bing. I mean, from the front, I could see bing. And every time I walked around tables, I could feel it bing, bing, bing.
So good news, people. From here on in, the manuals are going to be 10 pages long.
I personally, I think that 10 pages is going to be too long.
10 times 2, that's 20 hours, mate. That's 20 hours of content.
You know, I think...
Did you feel the same, mate?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that the intensity wasn't as high when we did it in the Hunter Valley. The leadership conference in the Hunter Valley wasn't as intense. So we weren't pushed to get through so many pages. I think a lot of people failed to go back and read that in material to take it in. Right. Having that break with having Mark to come and have a chat with us and to go out and do the fun activity at the winery and so forth, I think that put a new light on a lot of things and made, I think, everyone being able to absorb the information a little bit better, give them that time to breathe and absorb it. So for me, that was fantastic. Because I know in a few conferences, Fiji was one of them. Singapore, the Heart Conference was another
Singapore
one.
Was a
for me was my first one, which was Langkawi. I walked out going, what the fuck? Seriously? I remember speaking to Troy at dinner on the Monday night, and Troy's going, how do you find it? You know, it's your first seminar. I'm going, mate, I don't know where to start. And Troy, and I'll never forget his words, mate. Troy said to me, he goes, and I'd never heard this expression before. And we're talking
Troy Howe
Troy Howe
from Wiseberry Peninsula.
Right. He says to me, how do you eat an elephant? I never heard that before. Going with a knife and fork. I don't know. Slow roasted. I don't know. How do you eat an elephant? He goes, one bite at a time. He goes, mate, don't think you need to know it all now. Just take your time, reread, regurgitate, take the information in a couple of times. He goes, you'll get there.
My first one was Port Douglas.
I remember that.
And the line that kept reappearing was, don't worry, mate, he does that to everybody. Don't worry, mate, he does that to everybody.
Port Douglas is a good one.
But that was the first time because I reckon there was 50 pages probably of spreadsheets in the Port Douglas manual. And I was like, there was Ravans everywhere, mate. I didn't understand a fucking word of it.
You can see the people when it comes to spreadsheet and numbers, they get this blank look on their face. They start yawning. They get this glazed look in their eyes. They start to nod off.
So what you got to be careful of, big man, is if the intensity drops too much and people think, I can stay out for an extra 2 hours tonight because tomorrow's not going to be as bad. You know they're going to stay out for an extra 2 hours.
Like a Martinese or a...
Because there were some people who didn't give a shit anyway. And had the Martinese, I don't think, slept for more than 2 hours during Thailand. But there's some people that won't phase, but there are some people who go to bed a little bit early just knowing that the next day is going to be tough. So if now the next day isn't going to be as tough, we're going to have a lot more noise complaints, brother.
You know what? I'm getting to a point now where I know when to say goodnight. I mean, even at the Kickstart, we're all in the pool room and there was quite a few bottles set aside. I won't tell you how I got there, but there was quite a few bottles of wine set aside. I got to a point where I've got to go or it's going to start getting messy. I just had to say goodnight. It was like...
I realised it was time to go when everyone else was in bed.
You mean when you were lost in the garden? Yeah. It was raining.
And I couldn't find anyone. It was time to go.
Where's my room?
I don't mean to be the last one every time.
Is it when you were playing pool and you sang the last ball and you realised no one was in the room?
I won.
He's been playing against himself for the last 2 hours.
Oh, mate.
Listen, I hate people feeling like they're being robbed. When we run a seminar, I just want people to get way more than what they came for. But then this year, for me, I understood Kickstart this year. We have to just get people doing it. And I decided in November, stop giving people more. Just get them to do the basics. Just the basics. And so that's hence, if you heard me at the beginning of the seminar, I said, it's going to be very basic. We're going to go back just to the basics. But I'm going to make sure everyone got the basics. And when I saw people having those light bulb moments, oh, man, that made my day. Because now I know 2021 we're fine. Hence, I think it was a big success. To me, it was my probably, as far as I can remember, because there might have been better ones, but I have forgotten. But as far as I can remember, probably the best Kickstart I ever had.
Yeah, no, best one I've been to.
I can remember one other Kickstart that you got us in groups and we're giving feedback through one-on-ones from the managers to the staff.
Yep.
I remember that exercise being extremely useful. Seeing how other managers and leaders give their staff feedback.
Yep.
So I thought that was absolutely fantastic. But as far as, absolute light bulb moments, people understanding and walking out not looking dazed and bedazzled, absolutely. I think that was a great Kickstart.
Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about it today, and it's a sad thing, but we saw that on the social media this morning. Our mate, Jason Montes, lost his spouse, Giovanna, this morning at around 2 o'clock at the age of 36. And she leaves behind beautiful Laura. And she's 3 years old. I think that really is something that, even though I've been running a third day of recruit training all day, I couldn't help but just think about all this all the time. Is that, sometimes we live through life as if the need of the moment is so important. The need to pursue the goal and the target for the month and winning the next award, and it's so important that we actually forget that life passed by, never comes back. that lives actually get you to go through some of these things without you even questioning it. And the day that you're questioning, it might be too late, you know? And so it's a tough day today for all of us, because there's one thing about us at Wiseberry. We do a lot of things together, and we genuinely know a lot of things about each other. Yep. I say to a lot of leaders, you know, I defy you to just find out if the franchisor knows the name of all your leaders, all the leaders they have in their network. That's it. Because I will tell you all the name of the leaders and their spouse, and in many cases, even the children. And I think that when we know that even a spouse gone at the young age of 36, we hurt. She may not be a leader in the organization. She's a spouse of one of our leaders. And at a young age like this, it's very sad.
Absolutely. It's a total loss. It's a blessing to know that Jason's got such a strong family around him.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. No one should have to go through that. And our thoughts are with Jason and his family.
Yeah, absolutely. On a brighter note, what's been happening? What's the news that you guys want to share? What do you know,
What do you know?
From the fake news or the real news that we need to know?
That Trump should be locked up. I don't know how many other.
I don't know. I'm a bit sad about Trump, because when Trump was around,
I cannot keep up, bro.
When Trump was around, I was watching the news all the time, trying to find out, right, how is he going to get out of this, and how is he going to do this, and now the news is so boring. You know, you switch on CNN and you go, no, don't want to see it. You switch on Fox and it's like, no, don't want to follow this. There's nothing else. So I've gone back to Cows, Stefanovic, and put up
There's
with
nothing interesting going on. Although, if we rewinded back a few podcasts ago and I talked about how many tennis players get hurt because of the isolation they've been in, there's a lot of tennis players getting hurt in the Australian Open, mate. So I was right. I'm just going to throw that out there. A lot of injuries, but it's been very shit news. There's no good news going on, is there?
Can I ask, though, news in general, is it good? Generally, news that they're reporting, is it good?
No. I used to think you had to watch it to have an awareness of what was going on around you, because ignorance might be bliss, but it's also ignorance, you know. But yeah,
news is always negative.
You can talk about the same idiots over and over and over again. The moron that's running Queensland, the moron that's running Western Australia, we can go over. You know, they snuck in last week all the rules and protocols they're getting ready to put in place if we don't get what's the
vaccine.
I was going to say anaesthetic, but it's probably not. Probably not anaesthetic.
Right.
The vaccine. There's all that rubbish going on, but I think just focusing on your own little bubble. I don't know.
I'm
nonplussed.
And you know me, guys. I actually don't watch news. I don't listen to news. For the fact that many years ago I realised it's all negative. There's very, very minute proportion of news that's positive. And could say I live in a bubble, happy to do it, because I just want to stay away from that.
Well, it's just it's putting things in perspective. Who cares?
Yeah, and
you know, we've had an event today that reminds you about who cares, and then I've had another one 2 weeks ago that reminds you that there's just more important things in life.
Yeah,
so,
that's the more important. Life is short, and there's more important in life.
No, it's boring. We can't have a laugh about it as much. But have you had anything in the last 2 weeks that's worth bashing people's ears with? I don't know.
what in the news?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's plenty. There's a fact that for the moment you have the elderly still not being taken care of. I still believe that what's coming out now, even with the vaccine, for example, is how rich country can afford the vaccine, but poor countries won't. And how the EU, the Europeans are trying to play the mafias with their vaccine. I think that we spoke about how COVID brought out the worst in people and selfishness, and here is the EU trying to be the one saying, and you Trump doing the bad things, and you Trump are destabilizing the world, and now they're the one saying maybe we will block the numbers of vaccine into Australia. Come on.
Yeah, taking control of the exports.
This is ridiculous. I think that these are some of the things that people need to stand up for. I mean, Myanmar, you talk about this. I mean, what is this? I mean, how can you just walk up and being a general, therefore change the rules? And these are things.
Leader there was a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and
Yeah.
military's come and arrested her. There was an Australian journalist gone in China a couple of days ago. There's the guy. What country was the gentleman in the scientist that got arrested too? Was he China as well? There's another. Yeah, there's all sorts. But what do we do, TL? This is why the smarter minds are always quiet, because you look at it and you go, what the fuck can we do about the EU? It's just keeps happening in different. There's pretty much the same recipe for everything we've complained about or ranted about on here. It's the same recipe. It's just a different.
No, I don't think we rant. I think that we've got zero voice to rant. We just want to let people know, and then people can let other people know. I think that a ripple can conquer the world, but the ripple has to start with a stone throw, and what we're doing is just a stone throw, right? So. All of these things around the world, that's not really the best. I mean, you have a look. I spoke to mum and dad the other day in Belgium, and they're still waiting. They're not gonna get the vaccine yet because for the moment the nurse have got it. Then apparently afterwards the police is gonna get it. Then afterwards we're gonna talk.
Prince Charles got it today, mate. Prince Charles and Camilla, so that's the important thing. We're safe. The monarchy will be restored. Fuck.
So here, but because since Donald Trump's gone and the news gone bad, I would like to ask you guys something else. Okay?
Yeah.
What is that one thing that you guys have done with your children or with your family that has made a difference in the last few weeks?
You know what? We've started playing board games.
Yeah.
Something that we don't do enough of. We played charades the other day. A simple game of charades. It was so much fun. We played Scrabble. Just simple board games with the kids. There's the four of us. So much fun. Simple, cheap, but it's time away from technology, time away from TV, time away from the hustle and bustle. It's a bit of time out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, one of the things that we've been doing is going back to Giovanna, we've been sharing that with our kids. So we've been talking about the journey for her being there and what's happened. I think mainly because we made a concerted effort not to cocoon them into a world that is maybe plasticky.
Absolutely.
That they know the reality of the world and how it's really happening and how it's transpiring. And we really try and share it with them. And this morning they woke up at 5 and thank God for me, Michael had sent me at 2:40 a message. And so I told the girl, and you could see the girls sat down and reflected. They just woken up and they were going about their days busy as if it's a normal thing. And I when I said that, they stopped. They start doing things a little bit different. And I think that most of us really live life as robots. We do things because that's what we did last week and that's what we did yesterday. But we never reflected that our husband, our wife, our child at any point in time could actually disappear.
Yep.
What is it that we're doing between this time and then? And so for the kids, it's been big. I mean, as soon as I got the news, I obviously sent it to Alex and Charlotte as well, and I let them know. But I couldn't let many people know until Jason announced it on social media because I wanted to respect his privacy. But he did. That's when I let everyone know. But for our children, I think that maybe that was a gift that Giovanna gave all of my family, is that to take that time to reflect on the fact that, stop living the busyness of life like a robot. Start living the busyness of life one moment at a time.
Yep.
Because it could be that last moment, or it could be that most important moment. And I thought, especially the twins, the two elders, they didn't want to say much. I know that Charlotte had her own cry in a corner. Veronique had her own. But for the twins, it was big. And so I was even reflecting was when I was doing the recruit training here is there's really 3 parts of life, isn't it? It's that part of life for all of us when we celebrate everything, every birthday. Then there's a part of life when we just celebrate our individuality, we achieve things. And then there's that next part of life when we're saying goodbye to everyone. And finally, everyone says goodbye to us. And so I think that was a big lesson we had over the last few days.
Yeah, unfortunately, mine's somewhat similar. We had a death in the family in the last couple of weeks, and
That was Crystal's granddad.
Crystal's grandfather,
Yeah.
and it wasn't actually until the funeral that I realised the gravity of it. He was a great man. He was very, very, very close to the entire family, and up until that point, I'd had a little bit of trouble understanding the extent of the grief that was around, and it's the first time that we've had since the kids have been old enough to understand a death in the family. So as a parent, it was the first time I've had to sit down the kids and talk to them about someone passing, someone that they knew, and I didn't know. There's no fucking books. Well, there probably is books written, but I haven't read them. I didn't know.
Yeah, there's plenty of them, man.
Yeah, but
It tells me how much you read, bro.
well, it's not a subject I seek out. But
But it's a very good subject that tells you that life is finite.
yeah, but in trying to have that conversation with a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old, and trying to do it right, because something stuck in my head about what happened when we were at leadership with the guinea pigs at home, and the thought you put into how you dealt with that with the girls, and so I tried to do my own version of that, and so it was 2 weeks of a new experience and learning, and we've gone through that as a family. So unfortunately, not on the best note, but I think we've all learned a lot out of the last couple of weeks for sure and certain.
It's a funny how there's so many more lessons out of adversity, isn't it?
It's almost sad in a way that sometimes death teaches us more than life.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man.
We learn. That's why I asked about Ayrton earlier. Did we learn more after he was gone or while he was alive?
Mate, I can tell you, mate, after Ayrton's death, I was in mourning for a month. I did not really want to enjoy life or talk about it. And I was still a very young kid. But the guy had such a belief about what he was going to achieve and do that he actually shaped my life. That, you know, even today with the things that I do, I know exactly what I want to achieve. And whether I go to my deathbed fulfilling it, not fulfilling it, that's not the point. I know what I'm doing. And I think that that's the bit. So adversity, as far as they can really make us cry, they really got a silver lining. Anyway, boys, I think that on that today, I understand it may be a bit sad, but we've lost a friend. We've lost a wife of a very good friend, a very close person to our family. And I think it is just worth the time to take a moment just to think of them, to let them know that we're here, to let them know that we care, to let them know that maybe our words are not powerful enough to mend their wounds or heal their pain, but that hopefully our presence at some stage will be able to bridge the gap between their pain and their future.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys. Thanks very much for today.
Thanks, Chief.
Let's talk soon.
Cheers, guys. Peace.